actually is that it's more romantic. It's more. I'm sorry. It's simpler. It's more personal. Sherry, what do you think? I mean,
no, I'm smiling because that's exactly how I would put it as well.
Okay.
I, of course, would never say that to a Catholic group.
Of course. But, you know, I mean, the Protestants and Baptists in particular, I mean, we like to think of all of this in very personal terms, very, like the old hymn, I come to the garden alone while the dew is still on the roses, and he walks with me and he talks with me and he tells me I am his own. It's very personal and intimate. And the garden tomb will give you more of that sense than this, which has lots of darkness, mystery, foreboding to it, that kind of thing, you know. And so, again, you know, Protestantism is about, you get to have a direct relationship more, where Catholic and Orthodox, there's a great deal more ceremony, a great deal more in terms of the mediation of the church and the liturgy and the rituals and that sort of thing. So, our tomb traditions sort of mirror our outlook or understanding of that. And so, did you tell them at the Holy Fire?
No, please go ahead. No, that's great. Yeah.
Okay, so this is just a few days ago. When was it?
Last week.
Last week or so, yeah. Well, annually, what happens is the miracle of the Holy Fire takes place here. Pilgrims come and people come in, and sorry, but Palestinians have a hard time getting here now. It's a big argument, you know, that they don't get to, you know, be here because of the checkpoints and whatnot. But there are three that are more equal than others in the six groups in here. And so you have the Greek Orthodox Patriarch, Armenian, and the Franciscan, thank you. These three. And the Greek Orthodox, the other two, the Franciscan and the Armenian, are there mainly to keep the Greek Patriarch honest about how this happens. But he gets to, every year, sort of goes in and kneels before the place where Jesus was laid, and has to pray a prayer in a way that reminds me a little bit about the high priest who has to make sure he's pure before he goes into the Holy of Holies, lest he die and you pull him out by the rope. You know, similarly, he has to prepare himself and be pure, and then he says this simple prayer and waits. And every year, there is this Raiders of the Lost Ark sort of moment that happens, you know, where the Holy Fire comes down out of nowhere, and it is a self-igniting, kind of like Elijah, exactly, but it happens, and he brings a candle with him, and it lights itself, essentially. Now, sometimes the fire then leaps all over the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, and then even out sometimes. People come with their candles and torches and have them lit, and they testify that this particular kind of fire does not burn their hands and this sort of thing, and they like to show pictures of it in that way. And this is a sort of the miracle of the Holy Spirit that is a kind of annual way of validating somehow the authenticity of this place. And that God resides here, and that the Spirit continues to do this to those who are faithful, this kind of thing. Now, you know, I'm a Baptist and more in the Protestant tradition, and probably, you know, he walks with me and he talks with me.
You don't handle snakes.
No, I don't handle snakes. But I know that sounds a little bit condescending. Look, I think, you know, most people understand that these are things that the significance of which is not scientifically verifiable so much as it is the increase of the faith of the faithful, and that's kind of the way all that works. But that's an annual interesting thing, I think.
The way that it was once explained to me is, did you see the DreamWorks production, Prince of Egypt? Any of you? And there's the scene where Moses is at the burning bush, and he's very curious, and he takes his staff and he puts it in the bush, and then there's this, the way that DreamWorks portrayed it is there's this heat radiating from the stick, but he touches it and it's not hot. And and that's why somebody once explained it to me. I mean, and then you have the cynics that say, the Bic lighter is in his pocket. So, whatever and way that one relates to is perhaps the greatest miracle is that when you have all these lit candles, only once in the couple hundred years of this ceremony, only once was there ever a problem with the fire in terms of, imagine the crowded conditions, everybody holding a candle, even some people standing up here waiting with their candles for somebody to come from down below to light their candle, and the fire is passed from person to person, and only once was there a problem of a fire. So perhaps, in some ways that is the miracle really of holy fire, but it truly is a large spectacle. And thank you for sharing your comments. And we're going to meet up.
17. Well, the Church of England broke also from the Roman Catholic Church in the 16th century under Henry VIII. So the Episcopal Church comes from that break, and it was the English Reformation, the English Protestant Reformation, and again, all taking place in the 16th century. Okay, and pretty much in England and in continental Europe, or where those two things are taking place.
Didn't they change their name because of the American Revolution?
Yes, well, the Episcopal Church in America changed its name from being the Church of England or the Anglican Church. It's still, that's more complicated now, but yes, it became the Episcopal Church in America after the Revolutionary War, not the Church of England. Okay, there are high church, low church, and broad church, historically. In other words, these are all variations of liturgy. And the question is, how close to Rome are you in your liturgy, and how close to being a Baptist are you? It's sort of what it sounds like. It's sort of,
Really?
you know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty much like that. It's just how much, like, for instance, if you're, well, incarnation is more Roman. Okay. St. Michael has different services, so they vary. Okay, but incarnation much more Roman in their approach. They've got the censers that they use more often. St. Michael reserves those for only high holy days, sort of. But you have a lot more liturgical accoutrements in some Anglican churches.
Request for a future time, down on the street, probably.